I wasn't going to make another response video to the what is your practice question, but I just thought about something else which I think is relevant, so if it's okay, I'll make this last one, fifth one. And this is really kind of about entertainment as well, actually. And I've been thinking about entertainment a lot lately, and I've got more thinking to do about it. But it does relate to this question also, actually. And it really comes out of my job, because I work at a university. I teach theatre at a university, so I work with theatre students. And what I notice for many of the younger ones, the young candidates who come to interview, is that quite often they're very keen to be noticed. They're very keen to let you know how good they are. And you can kind of understand that, particularly in an interview situation. But I think it also comes out of for them, at least. It probably comes out of their schooling. Many of my students are dyslexic, or while some of them are very academically gifted, a lot of them aren't. And so, for many cases, the only time they've been told that they're good at anything really is in drama class or in the school play. So you can kind of understand that for all kinds of personal reasons, they're very attached to the idea of being good, of looking good, of someone looking at their body in space and watch it do something and saying that's really good. And that's fine, and that's kind of the starting point I have with many of my students. But one of the things I have to try to do is to get them to move beyond that, because that's a great starting point, but you can't really build a career out of that, or even a happy life, I don't think, personally. So one of the things that I sometimes do, I haven't done it recently, one of the things I sometimes do with them is do this exercise where the goal is not to make yourself look good. The goal is to work with partners or in threes, and your goal is to make the other person look good. Whatever you do, all of your attention has to be on making the other person look good. And what you find in that is if there's two people doing it or three people doing it, the whole game gets raised, because everybody's trying to make everybody else look good, and the whole game goes up. And there's none of that kind of fractionating and breaking apart that happens if each individual is only concerned with themselves and trying to make themselves look good. Because you just get all kinds of upstaging and ego trips going on when that happens. So the idea is, as I say, that by committing to a collaborative communal process and committing to making the other person look as good as you can, everybody benefits. Which sounds a bit Pollyanna-ish, I'm sure, to some people, but that's I think it's really important. And how it relates to, and this is probably a bit tangential, how it relates to what is my practice thing. I mean, that's something I try to do, to a certain extent at least, not in quite as refined a form, in conversations sometimes. I can't always do it because I'm as ego-driven and stupid as everybody else. But sometimes in conversations, that's absolutely my aim. Not necessarily to make the other person look good, but to make the conversation look good. Not to worry too much about winning my part of the conversation, because sometimes making a conversation look good involves not just shutting up really, or or saying very little, or echoing, or doing all kinds of different versions of what constitutes a participation in a conversation. But yeah, that's one of the things I quite like, is raise the game of the conversation, not by trying to win it, but by trying to make it look good, and make the other participant look good, and just trust that they're trying to make you look good as well. And sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes I find myself being an arsehole and trying to win a conversation, and regret it, of course, afterwards. And sometimes I think, oh, this other person I've been talking to has been a bit of an arsehole, and they've tried to win that conversation. But the best ones for me, as I say, the ones that work best as communal collaborative efforts, and which raise the whole game of what a conversation could be, are the ones when both people are engaged in that particular practice, which is a commitment to making the conversation and the other person who's participating in that conversation look as good as you can, really. Practice number 5. Listen to those birds. Oh, they stopped.